Okay, so week one introduced us into what makes a great suit. There's 4 main elements to this: knowing our clients, knowing what is expected of us, asking relevant questions, and learning from our mistakes.
So unfortunately, our first idea was a technology-based log tracker for fatigue drivers targeting companies such as Linfox and Toll, but it didn't quite meet the brief that was given to us. So with clever brainstorming of new ideas and a better understanding of what was required for this assignment, we came up with the new idea with the social issue of stress and anxiety in men.
In week 3, we were introduced to project management. This really helped us with defining and outlining how we were going to go about our project. Week 4 lecture pods was really beneficial for us when we had to consider our risks, assumptions, and constraints. When we had to consider the risks for our project, we didn't think how in depth we had to go. When we brainstormed about the actual risks for our program, there was actually quite a lot. We had to consider if our phone application had any bugs, if the application developers was past their deadline, and if they were to go past their deadline, how much money we would be wasting, if we got no attention on social media, and what about if the products from Radox didn't deliver also. So there's a lot of risks that you have to consider.
A bit of an issue throughout our project played a large part in our assumptions set out at the beginning of this project. Most meetings we held were hard to get all team members together at one time. This is mainly due to family and work commitments. However, with week 4's lecture on managing projects, we took on board the advice that you should never assume that in managing a project that someone will do something. You always need to double check that they are going to follow through with what they say they will do.
Throughout this project, we were able to start a Facebook group. This is where we could post, comment, like on each other's ideas and what was next.
We're basically just talking about how we, the process, how we came together, what we we had meetings and stuff like that, and what we found from the lectures each week that helped us through our assessment, basically.
They have to be infographics too?
Yeah. So there's 5, minimum of 5.
Okay, so we can still make it a cool video then.
Yeah. And we all have to do talking heads too, don't we?
Yeah, well, if you and Ash and Avalon organise that part, and we do all the interviews, all the deliverables, the whip and all that, Jess and I can do that, and you guys can do the video, and then we'll come together so we know each other's information, so when we get asked all the questions, we're all on the same page.
A matter of getting all the different videos, cutting them so they all fit in together, and just transitioning them, I suppose, so then they all fade into each other, and then just having the infographics popping up here and there when it relates to what we're talking about.
Yeah, the ones that Ash did.
I think
So shows the concepts and the process.
Rewrite the proposal for new social issue and client due Friday 19th of August. Owner would have been me and you, because we did it together.
From week 5 lectures, we learnt as a group that we need to set an agenda and stick to a to-do list. As Solomon R states, we need to have an agenda and stick to it most of the time.
The work breakdown structure helped us stay focused in a structured layout as a form of to-do list. We broke down tasks into smaller goals to achieve each week to make sure we weren't overwhelmed by such large workloads throughout the project, as well as staying focused without being distracted. This allowed us to stay efficient throughout the entire project and stay on task.
From week 6 lectures, we were able to learn about different personalities and how to manage them.
Managing different relationships with the reading from the relationship lecture, dealing with difficult people, 24 lessons for bringing out the best in everyone. That reading was very, very helpful for us as we understand everyone is different. Personalities can clash, but that didn't seem to be much of a problem for us. We did our best to stick together and work together, but at times it is hard to communicate with everyone and make sure everyone is on the same page.
numerous interviews were conducted with our target audience.
Do you ever suffer from any stress or anxiety?
Yeah, I do, mainly at work and pressure from other people.
Do you think talking about this issue relieves some of that stress?
Not really, I'm actually struggling with this interview. I don't like to talk about it much.
So would you say that you experience stress and anxiety regularly?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that? What causes your stress and anxiety?
Probably just working. I work in a stressful environment.
Do you ever talk about your feelings of stress to anyone else, or try and get some help?
Not really.
And why is that?
Normally just bottle them up. I just don't really feel like talking about it most of the time.
Do you ever experience any stress or anxiety at all?
Yes, I do. I mainly experience it during work, sometimes around a big group of people, and sometimes just out of nowhere.
Do you have any specific ways that you handle your stress and anxiety? Do you know what to do when it comes on?
No, not really. I kind of just let it happen and deal with it.
Do you find it hard to talk to your friends and your family about your stress and anxiety, and do you think that there's a stigma around mental health within men?
There's definitely a stigma around mental health with men, especially younger men. It's never easy to talk about problems for anyone, but mainly men. It's more of an ego thing and it's hard to break the barrier. So.
And if Radox was to bring out a application on your phone called Meditating Men that helped you handle your stress with breathing techniques and an online network that you can talk to people about your stress and your issues, do you think that that would be beneficial for you?
Yep, I'm on my phone all the time and I find it very handy, even if I'm at work or just somewhere where I'm not at home or with people. I can always refer to the app.
Over 105 surveys were completed by our target audience.
So the results of our surveys and our interviews were really quite overwhelming for us. We got over 105 surveys, which was really exciting for us to see that people wanted to participate. But Betty, it gave us a bit of an insight into males themselves. It's like they found our survey a bit of a event. They were able to open up and able to talk about their feelings as they were anonymous, which also backs up the fact that they will do things not knowing that people know who they are.
Our survey results were really great statistics. 90% said that they suffer from anxiety and stress. 80% said they like to keep it to themselves as they're a little bit embarrassed and they prefer to do so. 25% said that most of this stress and anxiety come from their career, where 45% people knew about Radox, but 25% agreed that a application would help them deal with their stress. Overall, we all found this project quite challenging, but also enjoyable at the same time. We loved delving into mental health within men and finding statistics and breaking down the stigma just that little bit more.